on, guys? Welcome to March's project update. I am Paul. This is Tierline Productions, and this is the first time you're seeing my face ever. So I figured I'd try something new. This is me trying that. I think it'll work out. I think we're gonna start doing this for basically every project update from here on in. Doing it kind of a vlogging style instead of me holding the camera shakily and walking around trying to show you guys everything. I think it works out better having the camera in a stationary position, makes for a better quality video. Hope you guys agree. So what's going on in this video? I have a couple of locomotives to discuss with you guys. A couple of them are works in progress. One of them is finished, and then we're going to get into some future information regarding this channel, my life, and a possible new layout. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into the works in progress section of the project update. The first thing we're going to discuss is a CN SD70i that I just picked up last week. This is the old run Athearn Genesis that needs to be all put together and everything. So far it's going great. I really haven't done too much with it. I'm just putting in LEDs for the moment, and then I have a decoder on the way. It's a non-sound NCE decoder. I'm not really spending a ton of money on this locomotive because my history with foreign power is that it usually only stays on the layout for a little bit of time. So we're not going to dump too much money into that thing, just because I know it'll be right back out the door, sold on one of the Facebook groups or something like that in a very short amount of time. So there's that project. The next one is a kind of familiar face from last month's project update, but in the same sense, it's looking a little different than you last saw it. So this is the NS GP40-2. It's the Athearn Genesis one that I picked up for last project update. It's looking a little different outside, but it's also got changes on the inside as well. I did pull out the TCS Wow Sound decoder that was in it. That was my first experience with TCS Wow Sound, and I didn't like it at all. It was absolutely terrible, if you ask me. Poor experience overall, so I pulled it out. It now has a Tsunami 2 decoder in it, which I absolutely love. I already had that in my Norfolk Southern SD70M, so I knew I was going to like the Tsunami 2 already, but I put that in there. That's all in. I also had to replace the Athearn headlight bulbs because they had burnt out. Big surprise there. With LEDs. The ditch lights are already LEDs, so I didn't have to mess with those at all, thankfully. But she's almost ready to go now. But the last thing you'll notice is that it does not have numbers. And this is kind of where I want to get my viewers involved with my video here today. So I can't decide what number to put on it. I had a couple numbers in mind, but I'm just not sure. One of them would have involved taking off the RS3 horn and putting on a P5. There's a couple other numbers that I had in mind too, but I didn't really like them all that much. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get you guys, the viewers, involved. What I want you to do is I want you to go on to ns-9.com or maybe railroadpicturearchives.net. Look at the GP40-2s that are on Norfolk Southern's active roster, and then suggest a number in the comments below. I mean, you can pick the number at random just because you like it. It can be a GP40-2 that maybe runs the locals near wherever you are, or it could have some sort of unique detail part that is easy for me to find and put on there to make it prototypical. Give me a reason why you're given that number, whether it be one of those ones or not, and then I'm going to pick the one that I like the most, either by picking the one I like the most, or if some of these comments start to get a couple of likes, maybe I'll do the number that ends up with the highest amount of likes or something like that. So that'll be a cool way to start to get you guys participating in my channel, because I really do want to start growing my viewer participation, my subscribers, and that type of stuff. As of now, I'm sitting at 181 subscribers. I've been slowly growing over the last couple of years here, but I really want to start kicking it up a notch. And one of the ways I want to do that is by doing the competition here to see who's going to pick the number for the Jeep. Another way that I want to do that in the future, not on this video, but is to give away maybe a piece of weathered rolling stock, something like that. So I'll set a goal, maybe once I reach 300 subscribers, something like that, I'll give away a piece of weathered rolling stock from my personal collection that I've personally weathered myself, to a random subscriber, something like that. We'll have more details on that giveaway in the next couple of videos. Just make sure you keep watching for the details on that. And if you're watching for the first time too, maybe hit the subscribe button now. That way you know when the giveaway ends up happening. So with that being said, we're gonna get into the one finished project on the layout for this month, and then after that we'll get into some of the future plans and that type of thing. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll be right back. This is actually my friend Josh's Dash 9 that he had me do some work for him on. Originally this was in horsehead paint with a white unibrow. It is now in the original NS logo scheme. I also renumbered it for him to 9059. So that looks great. All the custom work you see was already done on this thing, but it sure does look good, I'd say. So that's the one completed project for this month. I promise there's going to be a lot more interesting stuff happening if you just stay tuned. So hang on and I'll be right back. So now that you saw that one single thing that I got done this month, you should know I was very, very busy with school and work and just all around life. So I didn't get a ton done. But anyway, speaking of school, those of you who have been watching my videos at least for the past year know that I am a senior in college this year. This is my final semester. I only have about 7 weeks left, and then I'm moving home. I'll be home with my parents for probably a couple of weeks, and then my fiance and I are going to try to look for an apartment together that hopefully has enough space for a layout, which would be spectacular. So with that being said, we're going to get into what that layout may look like starting right now. So we'll be right back. Okay guys, so now we're going to get into discussing the possibility of a new layout. So you're seeing a preliminary plan here in front of you. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about the plan itself and what that might entail. So once my fiance and I are able to find an apartment, if, and this is still an if, we have the room for me to put up a layout such as this one, I definitely will do so. It's not a guarantee, as I said, but I really hope that that opportunity will present itself for sure. So what you're looking at here is a layout that actually utilizes all of the existing bench work that I already have. So it utilizes the 4x4 section and the 4x8 section from my home layout that I still have, and it also utilizes the 3 2x4 modules that I built for down at school, which you may have noticed are now down to only one being up. But as I said, it'll utilize all 3 of those, and then towards the bottom left corner I'll just have to make one small triangular piece that'll bolt onto the intersection of the 1 2x4 and the 4x4 section, and then the bench work will be ready to go. So The cool thing about this layout is the fact that because I'm not going to have to do a ton with the bench work, as soon as I find a place to be able to build this, it's going to go up really, really fast bench work wise. And then I'll just have time to work on, you know, the wiring and the laying of track and all that stuff too. So the plan as of now is to use Atlas Code 83 track, and then I'm not sure what type of switches I'll use yet. I'll have to figure that out. But for the most part, I think I'm going to do manual throw switches. I won't probably do many tortoise machines. The only two that I might do tortoise machines on this layout are going to be, if you look along the right hand side of the 4x8, that those few back switches that I would have to reach way across to get to, those may end up being automatically thrown switches, just because it's going to be very difficult to get to those two that are kind of up towards the top of the 4x8. But this layout style, as you'll see in the 3D renderings that are going to be coming up right now, is kind of similar to those of you who've maybe seen his videos to a gentleman from Canada called BA Rail Systems. He kind of uses, he did use sort of a design similar to this in order to utilize a small amount of bench work in the largest possible main line. He had the main line cross over itself, such as you're seeing here. So I kind of used that as an influence on this layout. He has since bought a brand new house, and he has an absolutely massive layout going. So if you're interested, I would definitely check out his channel as well, because it's great. But I'm kind of utilizing something similar to his old design. In total, this layout would end up being, I believe, 10 by 8 would be the total size. So it's a decent size, definitely an improvement over anything else I've ever done, and it'll definitely be a great challenge for me. Some of the cool features are definitely going to be that overpass where the main line kind of crosses over each other. The way it's shown in the 3D rendering is not how it's going to be. What I'll more than likely end up doing is just doing like a rock cut with just like a single truss bridge going over the top of it. Won't be anything fancy or anything like that. So then over towards the right hand side, you'll also see a couple of switches and stuff for 3 different industries. As of now, that's just a preliminary design. That'll more than likely be changing at some point, just because I like to fiddle with track plans and everything like that, and I'm sure I'll come up with something better in the meantime. And then you'll also see that 3-track yard. It's a small yard, but I mean, I think it's a good enough size that I can have most of my rolling stock out and on the layout and not have much in storage, because that's kind of one thing that I can't stand, is having my rolling stock in storage and not being able to look at it and enjoy it. That 3-track yard is a perfect size for this layout as well, because it is a three industry layout. They always, for operating purposes, everybody also always recommends having 3 different, a single yard track for every industry on your layout. So I've definitely taken that into account as well. So as I said before, I'll be graduating in May. I have a couple of job interviews lined up right now. We'll see what ends up happening job-wise as to what I'm going to be able to afford even. And like I said, hopefully I can find a place that's going to allow me to build something like this, because I would absolutely love to have something up while I'm in an apartment, because my fiance and I are planning on being in an apartment for at least 3 to 4 years before we start looking for a large house or anything like that. So this will be a great intermediary between some of the, stuff that I've already done with the switching layout, which really didn't end up getting finished, and the home layout that never ended up getting finished. So this will be a great first step into really learning for me how to lay track and some of the newer challenges that I haven't experienced with the
the hobby of model railroading. So, you know, if you're interested in any of this stuff, guys, please, I'll say it again, I'd love to see you hit the subscribe button. Definitely love to see you guys keep coming back for my videos. Again, be on the lookout for that that car giveaway. Um, you know, once I get up to 300 subscribers, maybe I'll start, you know, considering that giveaway for sure. And also, you know, leave a comment below. Let me know a number for that GP40 and next month's project update. Um, Maybe it'll have that number on it, and I'll give a shout out to, you know, whoever did have the winning number, quote unquote. So, as always, guys, thank you for watching my videos. I truly do appreciate it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, you know, do whatever you want with the video. I appreciate it all. And we'll see you next month. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.